Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are now live, 7 o'clock just gone on a Sunday evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for another episode of Sundays with Craven, the live podcast where we always have a good old chinwag every single week, speaking about the good old shiny precious metals, silver and gold. We're here every week. I honestly can't get enough of it. And tonight is no different. Episode 38. We have 3 people on the panel, and I can't wait to bring them in to find out more about their journeys and their stories. So let's not waste any time this evening, guys. I want to say a quick thank you just off the start to Queen Nessie and also Shiny Silver. Thank you so much, who just before the live even started, signed up to become a member of Craven's Crackers Club. So I really appreciate that. It's a way to further support the channel. And of course, if you do decide to do that, I think it's £2.99 a month. I'd have to check, but you get additional benefits on the channel, and you are automatically included in any giveaways. There will be a giveaway this evening. So if you manage to get your name in the list, or if you're a member, you can look forward to that. So let's say hello who's in the chat, and let's get things moving, guys. So there's a lot of comments before we've gone live. Let's see if we can go a little bit higher here and whiz through. So jumping into silver, mis-stacking with Craven, Benson's, Scottish Bullion Collector, Queen Nessie, Maha Sarakam Stacking, Nerd UK, Crispy Shiny Things. Who have we got? There's a wide audience. BBA, good to see you. Who else do we have? Big Green Stacker. Who else? Zeus is in the house. Good to see you, mate. Loads of comments, honestly. Let's have a look. Who else do we have? I don't like missing names, but it can happen. East End Dave, who says, oi, oi, to many to say hi to all individually. Brits and Sobs, good to see you. Guys, I keep mentioning it every week. If you are not subscribed to Brits and Sobs, at least go over to his channel and check out his content when he hits 1,000, which he is getting closer to every single week. He is going to be doing a rather large giveaway, and it's going to be hosted right here by me on Sundays with Craven. So go and show him some love, or just check out his content. By the time you've watched the video, you'll want to subscribe anyway, I promise. So shout out to Brits and Sovs. Who else do we have? We've got Diaxis in the audience, who is also on the panel, so we'll speak to him shortly. We have Jonathan Herbert, good to see you. CPM Invest, Andy, good to see you, mate. I am absolutely loving your series about fractional silver at the moment. Keep doing what you're doing, my friend. I'm so behind it. And anyone else that isn't, I shared a post today. Check out that series, especially if you're a new stacker or if you're on a tight budget. You really do want to check that one out. It's so good, mate. So love that. Love to see it. I'm bringing silver back, someone with one of the best names in the community, in my opinion, and Michael will as well. Thank you so much all for joining and tuning in on your Sunday evening. I think I've just about waffled, but just about long enough. 3 minutes in. If you haven't already, I can see 25 of you in the live audience already. If you haven't, press the like button. Please do that for me, as it really helps. It lets me know that you enjoy these live podcasts, and it encourages me to continue doing them every single week. Right, so shall we bring in the special guest? First, making his return, a regular on this show, also known as the world's #1 producer, I will be bringing in Diaxis. Let's bring all the cameras up, but first let's bring in Diaxis. How are you doing, my friend? It's so good to have you back.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Always good to be back with you guys. Yeah, always a fun evening.
It certainly is, mate. Like I say, I'm really glad to have you back on the show and get your thoughts, your opinions, and be part of it this evening. It's always a good chat. And as we know, it's not just me and you. We have a special guest this evening who I don't want to keep waiting any longer. He has been quickly and carefully building his backdrop. Very quickly, I am impressed, and I can see lots of lovely shiny. So, Silver Serpents making your debut on Sundays with Craven. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. That's quite an honor to be here.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I know we spoke about it and I'm glad it's happened. And yeah, guys, I'm sure you have, as regularly you're active in the community, Silver Serpents. But guys that haven't maybe seen Silver Serpents before, you should definitely check out his YouTube channel. I believe, mate, have you just gone past, or are you getting near 500 subscribers? Whereabouts are you at the moment?
I had just gone past 400 recently.
There we go.
So
yeah, I've seen that number growing quicker and quicker, mate. You've been making some good content.
Oh yeah, I've been jumping on lives quite a bit more, but I need to get on and make some new content. I've got quite a couple of pieces come in that I haven't quite. I mean, I've shown, but I haven't showcased on my channel yet. Some really nice collector pieces and.
Yeah, nice variety. That's certainly what I can see there. And those are all the things that I want to get into. I want to do a deep dive. I certainly have some questions for you this evening. I know Diaxis will have some questions too, and to share his thoughts. And the basis of the conversation this evening, guys, when we first spoke, Silver Serpents, you let me know that you've been stacking for just over 12 months now. You've just hit the 12-month stage. So as someone that's been stacking since April last year, so a little over that 12 months now myself, it's going to be really interesting to have that conversation about your thoughts on the first year, what you learned, what went well, what didn't go so well, and also that comparison, because it's one thing stacking here in the UK, it's another stacking across the pond in the US. It's probably going to end up with you, well, with us being a little bit jealous, if I'm being honest. Me and Diaxis, we're going to moan about tax this evening, but it is what it is. We will get into that. Before I start the show in normal tradition and ask you your first question, I'd like to just say a massive thank you. He's only gone and done it again. Jumping into Silver, who says, £10 super chat, firstly. Thank you so much. This lets you know we all love you, my friend. Sorry, Diaxis, I can't send you a coffee. So, there. I think Diaxis will be okay. You've got other beverages for the podcast, haven't you, Diaxis?
I said it, mate. I've always got a little something with me, mate.
And if you watch this show enough, or Diaxis' show on a Thursday every week on his channel, then you'll know what his preferred drink is. So drop a comment if you know. But anyway, let's start with the question. And this is from last week's guest, who was, as the spiced. Yeah, love that. Last week's special guest was, of course, the coin cutter. And it was a fantastic conversation. I really enjoyed that. And he's growing so much, and I absolutely love his work. And he left a question for this week, and that question was: if you could only buy one British coin for the rest of your life, your stacking journey, just one, what would it be? I'm going to come to you first, Silver Serpents. I am going to ask Diaxis as well, but it's more interesting to hear what you'd say on a British coin, because you are obviously across the pond in the US. So what would that one British coin be for you, mate?
I'm not too sure. I have only got 3 Britannias in my stack that are silver. I've got the Royal Arms, I believe that one is. A regular 21 Britannia, and then the special edition Liberty and Britannia. But lately, I guess I've been kind of wanting to focus a little bit more on gold. So if I could only pick one British coin, it might be a 1/10 gold Britannia. Just because I really like the 3 9s and 4 9s fine. Like I've got kangaroos. I think, yeah, here's a maple. And then just recently I picked up this one, is a 1/10 ounce Perth lunar snake. So
nice.
I've kind of been going a little bit on the fractional gold, a little bit heavier. I'm still picking up silver, but if I could only buy one, it would probably be a 1/10 gold Britannia.
1/10 gold Britannia. So you're going for the pure gold, which I rate. And the British, you are going for the Britannia. Did the gold sovereign, did that come into your thoughts at all, or is it always about the Britannia for you?
I, quite frankly, still being my first year of stacking, I don't know that much about circulated gold coins, like the pre-33 American gold coins that are 90% gold, or the British sovereigns. to have learned enough about their purity and weight to, although I do much like the design, and I believe they contained about a quarter ounce of gold, but I'm not too sure on that. So again, it kind of comes down to just a lack of knowledge. That kind of like, makes it an easy default choice to say, a 1/10 gold Britannia.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of one of the things that I've learned. I don't know about gold yet, but going with pure gold versus alloyed, as far as like a 3/9 fine versus like 90%. For a while there in the United States, with the run up in silver, they were getting so much sent into refineries that they stopped taking 90% in sterling silver. And even odd weight Canadian 4/9 fine, like Canada, they make 3/4 ounce, 1 1/4, and 1 1/2, and they wouldn't take any of those odd weight coins, even though they were pure silver. They wanted 1, 5, and 10 ounce or bigger.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think as we go on, I know you're at the 12-month stage. We continue to learn, and that's what's so fun about it. What I will say on your decision, when it comes to gold, you can't really go wrong if you're getting pure gold. And yeah, the Britannia's a good bet. It really, really is. So great answer.
And thinking
mate.
back too, they never said no to gold, whether it was carat gold or jewelry, or even 22K like an Eagle or a Krugerrand versus 4/9s like a Britannia or Maple. So gold was more liquid than silver, even in those high sell-off periods, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm similar to you. I'm also looking more into gold than silver at this stage. But it's an interesting thought, and I want to take this over to Diaxis now to see where your thoughts are at, mate. I had a feeling what your answer will be, but just to repeat the question for the viewers as well, feel free to share I'm in the middle for that, your answers in the comments below. Diaxis, if you could only buy one British coin, so it can be silver or gold, for the rest of your life or your stacking journey, what would it be and why?
I'm going to say it depends how you read into that question. If you're fixed on a single coin, so you can't do different metals, I would probably say a sovereign. But realistically, it's going to be a Britannia, just purely because you've got silver versions, you've got gold versions, you've got 1/10, quarters, half, ounces, like all the way up through. So it gives you that wide, like, batch of coins that you can go. So yeah, like I say, it depends how you read into it.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I got distracted by jumping into silver again. Who I sent another £10 super chat, but it says send that to Diaxis. How am I supposed to do that? Look, thank you, mate. But for anyone, I mean, Diaxis is probably not enjoying seeing this and hearing this. But I'll come back to what you said in the set, Diaxis. Guys, it means a lot to me when anyone does a super chat. So thank you so much. But yeah, YouTube do take a cut out of it before it comes to me. And if you want to send Diaxis anything, sort that with him directly. Jumping. I can't pass it on. I might not even see that for a month.
In other words, he's going to scam me like he did with the knickknacks. He'd buy a share bag and then not even give me any.
Yeah, but that's it. But that's funny. And thank you again, jumping. And yeah, Diaxis, the sovereign, mate. It's a pretty safe bet. I think based on what Silver Serpents was saying before, I think the weight of the sovereign is just below a quarter ounce of gold, isn't it? 0.23?
Yeah, fractionally under 8 grams in it.
Yeah, 7.98, something like that.
The reason for the sovereigns, though, is just the history of it. Like, where, do you know what I mean? You're only going back a handful of years with the Britannias. Like, they go back hundreds of years. So, do you know what I mean? I don't know. I like
the old ones.
Yes, I'm starting to fancy old coins as well. I've picked up a couple of 8 reales, just 1, 8, and then a 1/2 real. I was really happy to get those old coins in my stack. And then I recently picked up their new mintage, but they're from the Spanish mint, tributes of the 1700s 8 reales. I don't know if you all have caught me showing these on another live stream, but here, this one's iced off of 1772. And
wow, that's nice.
Sorry, the dogs might be barking off a bit, so let me try to get this in. This is from the Royal Mint of Spain. So these aren't minted in Mexico, but they are a tribute to the Mexican 8 reales.
Look at that.
And so these are 27 grams of 925 sterling silver. And these are, I'm not sure, right here, Joyas del Museo Casa de la Moneda is...
I completely sympathize for this moment because if you viewers
Sorry
know,
about the dogs. That's Jewels of the Spanish Mint. I mean, just a second.
It's okay. I was going to say, mate, do not worry. I think a lot of us in the community can relate. I have a little dog who's very cute called Hovis, who you all may have seen. And trust me, when he's not being cute, he likes to yap. He loves to bark. I think Diaxis, you may have heard him bark a few times as well, haven't you?
Yeah, he's not too bad, there, mate.
Oh, yeah. He's all right if you can turn the volume down on your
well, he's been all right when I've been in the chat, mate, on the lives.
Yeah, here we go,
this
mate.
One is a 1737. So this one's got the Pillars of Hercules with the plus ultra and the Spanish crown, and then it's got the shield on the back for King Philip V. And so
that's a really nice coin. Just out of interest, were they a premium purchase though to get that, or was that?
Yes, these were about $90 US for, and it's a 27 gram 925 sterling. So for its weight, definitely had a premium. It's, you know, maybe, what would that be, 25 grams of silver?
You say now he knows how we feel, mate.
An ounce and a half. But there's only 4,000 of these minted. So kind of a premium collectible I felt might hold that premium with the right buyer.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. If you find the right person that wants it, they value it and the premium it holds. Just quickly, guys, I have to give a shout out to my good friend Benson, who has done a £5 super chat and said, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate all your support. Absolute legend. So thank you for doing that. So great answers to start with, guys. We can have an open chat here about a lot of things, and I'm excited to see where the conversation goes. But I want to start us on the foundation, really where things began, specifically with you, Silver Serpents. I really want to hear about where this all started and talk through this first 12 months. And the way I want to work our way into that is by asking you an initial question, which is, you know, what were you doing sort of before stacking? And was there something, or like was there a turning point where the pin dropped and you were like, I want to do this? Like, what changed in your life and what was the reason you got into stacking, if you understand what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah. I kind of hate to sound really generic, but I was watching the John Wick movies, and, you know, I'd seen how they traded the gold coins around for different services. And I thought, well, that was pretty smart. You know, that's a way to barter value outside of the system, and something that's redeemable. And at one point I looked over to my girlfriend and told her, I was like, that's like $2,000 he handed him. And then I, out of curiosity, went and looked up the actual spot price and was like, no, that's only 1,800. Now it's over 4,000. But I kind of was kind of curious about getting a silver coin, but I looked at silver spot was like 22, and the coin itself had like a $7 premium. And so I didn't really understand the premium over spot, and I stopped looking into it. And then a couple years later, my girlfriend's father, she had a couple silver coins sent to her by her father about April of last year. And it kind of reignited that spark. And I was like, silver? And I was looking at what she got. And then I ended up placing an order for, like I said, 3 silver buffaloes. And there's those 3 here. I ended up ordering from one of the largest bullion dealers, but they kind of get slammed in the stacking community because they have some of the highest premiums. But they also have a very large variety of selection. Like some of these first lunar coins that I got, they were some of the few dealers that still had them in stock. So, but they have the highest, cost. It's only a few dollars more, but I wasn't necessarily stacking lunar coins. So I was willing to pay it. And then, like I said, yeah, after having these first 3 ounces, I just, it kind of triggered something like, okay, you know, I want a little bit more. And so I bought this 2-ounce coin and a 1/2-ounce colored version that's somewhere put away right now. And that really kind of set the hook. Like the buffaloes were the bait that I started to nibble on, and then when I got the snake, it was a hook. And I know I've always liked that. My year 2020, I was born in 1989, is the Chinese Lunar Year of the Snake. And so, being that I started stacking in 2025 was also that year. Wow. And then I discovered the Perth Lunar Series, and that then I started looking around on Facebook for any coin shops in my area, and I found a couple of different bullion groups to buy, sell, trade, and I ended up buying a couple of Libertads and some Philharmonics, and these, I think these 2024s are they're in the tube still, but I bought 5 Libertads and 2 Philharmonics because I like the designs, and then that really kind of set me on the path of buying bullion. And at the time, I was comfortable paying like, what would it be? Almost like a 10 to 12% premium on generic rounds, and up to like a 30% premium on the Lunar Series or the Libertads. You know, where spot was $30 to $35. If I was getting these under $45, I felt happy with that purchase. And you know, a lot of the time in that community, people were saying, don't buy the high premium silver. You're not going to get your money back. You're not going to sell it for what, you know, the premium equals. And I was like, I had the long-term goal in mind. Was like, okay, if this is something I'm going to hold for decades, I want to have something I really enjoy and want to hold for decades, not just, oh, I've got tubes and tubes of silver taking up space. That I didn't really care about the design or like that much. And so that was kind of set off me collecting more than stacking. Shortly thereafter, I discovered the private bullion groups on Facebook, and you know, it's kind of a peer-to-peer network. I don't know, kind of like Pure Metals or PMs for sale on Reddit. You know, so you know, you definitely ask for resources. I mean, references when you're new. Do your due diligence. You know, check and make sure the person's not listing for the first time. See if they've got repetitive sales. You know, and all of that's encouraged. People are like, you know, always ask for references if you're unsure. You know, people can vouch in trades. You know, okay, you know, if you're sending silver for gold or gold for silver. Or even, you know, just, you know, sending somebody you don't know a couple $100 over Venmo or PayPal and say, okay, well, you know, I'm trusting you to send me the gold coin and make, you know, good on that. I haven't had any issues with that, but that opened up a lot of room for me to buy silver cheaper, because although I don't pay the value added tax that you have in the UK, my state has gross receipts tax on all purchases except for groceries, and precious metals are not exempt from that from that tax. So I'm paying just over 9% gross receipts tax with any online bullion purchase from a dealer, anything from eBay, anything from Pure Metals, unless I'm doing a strict peer-to-peer transaction where I'm sending money over PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, then I'm not paying that sales tax. And so that has helped me save a lot of money and buying my silver, as well as the premiums are lower. I've been able to get a lot of silver at spot, sometimes just below.
Wow.
And as well as the variety of coins that I've collected, like the colored Libertads here, have all just been people. Sometimes they have a collection like I have and they're selling them off. Sometimes people get 1 or 2. And so seeing that variety from all the different sellers in the groups has really allowed me to buy a very diverse collection, even of generic rounds and different coins from like Niue and, you know, like the Marvel, the movie themed, and all of the pop culture semi-numismatics that are out there.
Yeah, you've certainly got a really nice variety. I'm just looking at your backdrop once again. So many different silver coins. We can see some gold. I can see generic rounds. I can see your colorized limited edition. I can see a common theme of the Mexican Libertads. I absolutely love them. They're a stunning design. I want to bring Diaxis in here to sort of answer everything you just said so far, because I'd love to hear Diaxis's opinion on what you've just said there of your experience buying in the first 12 months in the US. You spoke about premiums. You spoke about tax and the 9% tax that you still do technically pay. Diaxis, from a UK point of view, mate, do you want to say what your thoughts are on how it is over here after hearing that?
My bag's already packed, mate. I'm just trying to get flights booked. And it's a joke, dude. Like, honestly, like whatever spot is, you can add like 30 quid on top of it. It's just insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, so many Americans I know that I'm friends with and everything. They're like, oh yeah, I got this so many dollar like in front or behind spot or whatever, and it's like we can't even get anywhere near it.
Yeah, and so some of that, I guess, kind of comes into the reputation of the seller. I picked up one round, and it's a generic round that looks by Sunshine Minting Incorporated by SMI. So it's got the Morgan on the front, and on the back, it's got that circle that you can scan or whatever to verify the silver.
Yeah.
And the opening bid, it was a 24-hour auction. So you type in a comment with a number as your bid. And if nobody bids higher than you within 24 hours, then you win at that price. And I started it off at $70, which was, now is $5 US below spot. And nobody else bid on that. So I ended up getting that generic ounce for $70. And then I paid $6 for shipping, which came up to, right at or just under spot, depending on the time of day, including shipping.
Only good thing we have got, like with the Britannias, they're capital gains tax free. So you can sell a whole boatload and there's no tax to pay when you sell.
That's really good. Now, I've heard some people talk that like the American Eagle is being a U.S. coin or currency is tax exempt, whereas other silver is potentially capital gains tax. I've heard up to 28% as a collectible, depending on your your state and then your existing income tax bracket. Like if you're already a millionaire selling off several $100,000 worth of silver, you'll probably pay a higher tax rate than somebody like myself who makes between 30 and 35,000 a year, and I sell off a couple thousand and then actually report it or whatever. I guess that comes down to the volume of the sale. Everything I have now would trigger an IRS notification of sorts, that I would have to report it as income, and then at the end of the year pay taxes on that.
Is there a limit with that though, or?
I don't know. The limit is $10,000. Any cash transaction over $10,000 is automatically reported. So then it then becomes documented. Okay, well you had an income of $10,000. Or more on this day from this business paid you money, or if you had a lottery ticket or were at a casino and had winnings of more than 10,000 and a single jackpot or something, then that would have to be reported.
Yeah, I must say, it always blows my mind in America when they win like the lottery and they've won like 500 mil, but then they got to give 50% to the government. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, they end up with less than half, right? When they actually get it in their account.
Yeah, I believe it's like 52% is the highest tax that you can get paid out everything at once. And it's like 52%, more than half goes to taxes.
Yeah.
Because it's unearned income. And then it's such a high amount that it's taxed at a higher percentage.
I'm going to say, if I'm right in thinking, even like if you won like a Mr. Beast car, you got to pay taxes on the gift and stuff as well, aren't you?
It depends on the state. In California, I believe so. Like when I was one thing when Oprah tried to give cars away was they had to pay sales tax on the retail value of the car, even though it was a gift.
That's interesting. Yeah, we do love, certainly us Brits, Silver Serpents, you may have noticed, we do love to have a little bit of a moan and a chat about taxes, such as the way things are, certainly over here.
Oh, yeah.
I find it really interesting when I hear, someone from the US like yourself talking about, your pickups, the prices you're paying, sometimes even getting bullion for less than spot. I can't fathom that in my head. That's only happened for me when I've maybe picked up something luckily on an auction or a lucky eBay pickup or whatnot with some credit. It doesn't happen very often. Certainly not here. Now,
Yeah,
I want to.
I would agree. Not very often for me as well. Anything near spot kind of goes right away. Like in one of my Facebook groups, I've seen somebody, he'll list up 3 sovereign coins, whether they're Maples, Britannias, Krugerrands, and he'll list them maybe $1 over spot each, including shipping. And within minutes, somebody's jumping on and saying, "I'm, buy it now." And so,
yeah, sometimes you can get lucky with timing, and if you have the cash dispensable in that moment, you can really take those opportunities and get great value from your purchases. We all have those moments, and it's great when it happens. But I want to move the conversation down a slightly different route here. It's interesting you talking about the start and your what you picked up. You've got a variety, you've got a collection. But I want to ask, throughout all of this so far, do you have any regrets? Like, is there anything that you wish that you did differently? Is there anything you maybe spent too much money on and you regret? Is there an item that you just wish you never bought? What sort of things have you learned there in your first 12 months, mate?
I would say, there's something, I guess maybe in the moment, I kind of regret buying 2 of the colored Libertads that I have. But now that I have them in hand, I'm pretty happy with the purchase. And they each came in a wooden display box, and they're have ruthenium and platinum on them. So they're supposed to, I'm not sure. I almost want to contact, because this one didn't seem like it was totally finished, but it's supposed to. In my opinion, I thought like a proof and reverse proof. So there's the black platinum and ruthenium, and then the other is ruthenium and black platinum. And these ones were $125 at the time, and they took quite a couple months to come in from a pre-order. And at the time, I had almost hoped they wouldn't come in just because of the price. But now that I've got them, I'm pretty happy to have them in my collection. But there was one thing just recently. I was on Whatnot, we're just watching a show, kind of entering the giveaways and just seeing what people were paying from a company I have done business with before. And I ended up buying this Guinea 1/10 ounce silver for $13 US. And which was, I felt a little, it's about market value, but too much for a 1/10 that was almost double spot price. This one here I picked up.
Well, right?
Yep. Yeah, the Aztec from the same seller a couple of weeks ago for $10 on that 1/10 ounce. And then I got a 10-gram Belcambi for, I went to swipe at 18, and all the last-minute snipers jumped it up to over $40 for a 10-gram Belcambi. But Bullion Brother is the company, and they're a really good, reputable seller. They're very transparent about their replacement costs and whatnot, and with their fees and what they expect to get for their silver. And I know I can find better deals off of Whatnot or maybe from different sellers. And so when I thought I could get a good deal, I just jumped in and was a little late on the swipe and bid up way more than I would have paid for these items. But
that's why you gotta type it, not swipe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said, Diaxis. I think what
I do like fractional silver, but if I can get it with a fair premium, a lot of people will charge 50% over spot on a 1/10, and then slowly drop the premium as the fractional gets larger. But I wouldn't stack less fractional. I would just, I don't know. I would maybe add more generics or more common generics. A big thing that I felt, especially when the gold silver ratio dropped, was I didn't have a lot of silver. I felt I was liquid in my collection. Like I had such a variety of even generic rounds that I wasn't really willing to let go a large amount of weight to really capitalize on a gold trade. So I ended up trading like 11 ounces for these 2 gold 10s. Instead of being able to trade, 25 or 26 ounces for a half ounce. And so that kept me from making a bigger move. But again, that first year stacking, I'm still in that acquisition phase. And so I'm kind of learning to shift away from the ice cream cones and the treats and start to get more just generic weight when I can. Like, I think my last 3 buffaloes, I picked these up for, I think, $70, and then another generic round. But spot was like 72 at the time. And they said, 72 if you buy one, or 70 if you buy all 4. And I was like, I'll buy all 4. And so I got those in the tube. I've got here with my buffaloes, and then just to fill space, I got 2 maples and then those 3 Britannias to make it an even 20.
Gonna say, how do you sit on the whole buffalo v bison situation?
I've always called them a buffalo round. And
yeah, I guess that's all I've ever heard of them, but the animal technically is a bison on it.
Yeah.
American buffalo or something. But
there was actually a vet in my area that had said that Taos Pueblo had some of the last genetically pure bison in North America, that at one point there was a lot of crossbreeding between cattle and bison. And so he was like, I call them beefalo instead of buffaloes because they're almost more cow than they are bison.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It comes up a lot, that debate of whether it's a bison or a buffalo. It is a bison, but it's commonly referred to as buffaloes. That's what they tend to be referred to as. I think it's very relatable, Silver Serpents. Some of the experiences you mentioned there, very open as well. So thank you for sharing some of that. I think a lot of us in the community can relate, certainly on Whatnot. And a lot of people kindly did make it clear. And if you didn't know, if you are bidding up on Whatnot to try and get an item, do either put a custom pre-bid in before the auction or type your bids. Don't just swipe it, because like Diaxis says, type it, don't swipe it. When you swipe it, it jumps up by, I don't know, like a percentage or like $5 or $10, whatever in your currency it is. It doesn't go up just by 1. You can end up paying a lot more. So you have got to be careful. And I think the big thing is, and why it's interesting asking after 12 months, what do you regret? Do you regret anything? What could you have done better? Is because we learn so much in the first year. And in the first year, we start with nothing. And we a lot of us go through a journey of wanting a bit of this, a bit of that. And over time, I mean, for me, it's been the case. I start focusing more on value and weight. I've got excited. I've added some flavor to my stack. I've bought some collectibles and then sold those collectibles. Now I'm keeping it quite simple and boring and focusing on using my money as well as I can. So 12 months in, Silver Serpents, what does the next 12 months look like for you in terms of your stack? Whether it's more silver weighted, gold weighted. I think you said you were looking more at gold. What are your goals for the next 12 months? And I'll also, after you've answered that, I'd like to hear where Diaxis stands on that as well, as someone that's been stacking for 2 years, and see how your second year went. But I'll come to you first, Silver Serpents.
I guess what I'm hoping to add is a bit of a mix of both. After the big crash in January, where silver lost 30% and gold only about 20%, I've kind of been feeling a little bit of FOMO on the gold front, like to try and acquire more before it goes back over 5,000 US an ounce. I would like to acquire another half ounce of gold, maybe within the next year if I can, and maybe 100 ounces of silver. In my first year complete, my first several months, I was living out here off grid. I had fewer bills. I had side job on the weekends that was paying me cash. And so I had a lot more disposable income, and I really kind of went off the deep end into silver and picked up over 200 ounces in my first 6 months. And then it slowly trickled up, cutting back in October, November, all the way until like January on buying silver, except for small amounts of like 90%. So I managed to hit 300 ounces of silver in my first year, which is I knew it was unsustainable in the beginning of summer, but FOMO helped me build my stack. I had a big feeling of it's going to go up, all the hype in the community, the industrial deficit, the et cetera, silver to the moon. And so I don't really regret FOMOing into it, but I'm slowing down, trying to hit a more reasonable pace. And that's why I say, like, maybe a half ounce of gold and 100 ounces of silver. The price is definitely a factor in that, as well as just being a little bit more bullish on gold, trying to, as well as, I guess, with my silver, I want to acquire more generics, more what I would consider surface stack or liquid weight, because even though like I've got 15 buffaloes, these Mason Mint I really like the design and the details, so I didn't really want to even let these go. I ended up trading some kangaroos for gold and for some silver pours that I had done recently. So even I have a hard time figuring out what I want to let go. And so my goal is to acquire more liquid weight, more simple things like the Sunshine Silver Eagles and things that I can be like, okay, well, I've got, a tube of those I can let go when the GSR drops, or if I want some custom silver art made, like my pours I had by FG Stacker. It's kind of like our United States version of a silver punk, where, he's very open to being commissioned for items, and he's done a number of pours for me.
I've seen FG's work, and I've got to say, I hear the name mentioned regularly. I do watch a lot of the American live streams. His work is phenomenal. I'm really enjoying what you're explaining and everything you're showing, Silverpunks. I've got to stop you for 1 second, because something you said at the start, and if you don't want to give more detail on this, there's no problem. There's no pressure. It really, and maybe it caught Diax's ears as well. I'd be interested to hear. But you said that you lived off grid. Is that correct? You're living off grid, so it allows you to have more disposable income. Is that right?
I did. Without getting too deep into personal issues, me and my girlfriend, we were at a really rocky point in our relationship. Right now, we're kind of mending things back together, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, out here, there's our solar panels and some garden beds, and then there's the mountains out in the background with the one empty neighbor's house, and then just a little structure we used to use for chickens when they were smaller. And so we generate our electricity with solar panels. We cook with propane, and we use a wood stove for heat. So there's no regular utility expense. We haul water or collect it from rain catchment systems. And so last summer, we were kind of going through a really rough breakup, and I ended up moving into an apartment in the closest town where I also worked. And so now that I have rent and utilities, that takes away, about almost half of my income to provide for my housing costs. Where before our land was paid off, our electricity was more or less free, because we own our solar system. We weren't, we didn't finance it. She owns the land. And so it's a very different way of living, though, too. We had a very small space, having to haul firewood, haul water, swap propane tanks when they run out, but it's a trade-off, I would say. There's a very big sense of freedom and the responsibility of independence when you're out here where we're at. And we're not far from town. We're about 12 miles outside of, town limits. So we're not way off in the distance, but just your everyday life, there are things, it makes you more mindful of how much you're consuming when it comes to electricity and especially water.
Yeah, wow. That's fascinating. I had to ask the question, so thank you for being open and sharing that, because I honestly found it really interesting. And I want to bring you in here, Diaxis, because
really, if you hear chirping in the background, it's these little birdies that we've got. We had a storm come through over the weekend, so we moved the young chickens inside, and they're right next to where I'm set up.
That's really nice. Yeah. Diaxis, I want to bring you in, mate, because we've spoke before. Obviously, I think we were talking about a YouTube channel that you follow, someone that's obviously gone off grid and living this different life. What are your thoughts on that, mate? That's really interesting.
I love it, mate. Yeah, well, we've already had discussions about certain things and possibilities I've seen, but I do just want to start off with, mate, don't show Craven there's a caravan in your backyard. He will pack a bag. I've seen it in the window, man. Yeah, no, to be fair, mate, I've been looking at properties and I'm kind of in between what I want to do. I don't know if I want to buy an investment property and try and do it up to flip or rent, or if I literally do just buy something off grid, or if I just change countries altogether. But yeah, I have had my eye on off grid for quite a while, mate, to be totally honest.
Yeah, it's a totally different way of life. I can't say that I've never really thought about doing it, but I love hearing about it. So thank you for sharing that. And yeah, don't worry if there is a caravan there. Silver Serpents, as Diaxis said, I've already got my own caravan, so don't worry, I'm not in the market. Okay.
That's quite all right. And actually, this land here to the south beyond that house, there's 960 acres, I believe, that's for sale out there.
There you go, Diaxis. You pack your bags, you're ready to go. There's the
Okay,
land,
mate.
mate. Off you pop.
Yeah, I'm not going to let too much out of the bag, but I did see a 20-acre wood like forest over here, which would have been pretty cool.
I saw one, and I wish I would have had the capital jump on it. It was 20 acres for maybe just over 2,000 or just under 2,000 per acre, and then bordering the national forest, but it's a little bit further than where I am now.
Where this one's too, there is a little plot twist to it, although it is not confirmed, but it's a mile away from an ancient gold mine, and there is a stream on the property. Because I did say to Craven in Self on that, potentially you could go panning for gold on your own property, which would be sick.
That would be sick.
Yeah. The only thing with that, though, and
I know what you're going to say, the crown owns the gold.
The mineral rights, I mean, you know, if you happen to stumble across a big, large nugget, guys in the audience, if it, you know, you'd have to let the government, you'd have to let them know, right? You can't just hide like. Not that many people would find one.
I can say that it wouldn't be on YouTube, man.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, that wouldn't be shown anywhere. Quick one, guys. I want to shout out. He's only gone and done it again. It's every week. What a legend. Vegas Stacker. Honestly, mate, you are so kind. Thank you so much. Who has gifted a membership. I can't see who's got that. We'll have to check. I believe it's gone to Bo, who put very kind of you, Vegas. So it may have gone to Bo. I could be wrong. I can't see it on StreamYard. So if I got that wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I DM'd him, mate.
Yeah, he says Diaxis made me do it. Diaxis, you can't be. Poor Vegas every week. He just wants to tune in and watch the show. And
that's the first time I've told him he had to do it, man. It's normally like other people.
Yeah, that's it.
Peer pressure, mate.
Yeah, always great to have Vegas in across the pond as well. In your neck of the woods, Silver Serpents. Yeah, I love it. And you know, I want to repeat here. I find it really interesting speaking to stackers in the US. Diactus there showing the Las Vegas. Is that a 5 grammer? Is that a silver?
Little 5 grammer, mate. Yeah. That's what America
really
first sent me over ages ago, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like digging through, mate, trying to find it because Summit Silver Serpents said a minute ago was on about the silver getting the ice creams. I was gonna say, is it that? 1 gram ice cream?
Literally. Diactus literally couldn't resist the ice creams. And that was a great way of wording when you basically treat yourself on something that's maybe not the best value, but you do it anyway. You buy the ice cream. What's that you've got there? That's a Britannia 1 gram, right?
Yep.
Look at that thing.
1 gram Britannia.
Are we doing a battle of the 1 grammers? There we go. No American flag then.
Battle of the 1 grammers. We have a Wonka bar. Look at this. I'm still impressed that there's such a thing as a 10 gram Valcambi that you showed us before, Silver Serpents, because we're all aware of the 1 gram Valcambi. We've all won one of them for free and whatnot, but the 10 gram, look at that thing.
Yeah.
There's got to be a premium on that, though.
Yeah. I think these come out of the 300 gram breaker bars. I'm not too sure. But yeah, you can see it's got, well, maybe not inside the flip, but the top edge is still factory. And then it's been broken on the 3 sides. It's got that little tear.
Yeah.
That little torn edge. Like it came out of a breaker bar or something.
Well, the 1 grams all do, and maybe they do it the same with the 10 grams. Who knows? I don't know how they manufacture them, to be honest.
No
It'd
idea.
probably be like 100, wouldn't it? And snap it into 10.
Yeah.
I know they do a 100-gram sheet. I've seen those sell for like 300 or 330, 350, which I think is expensive. It's 50% over spot for a bunch of 1-gram bars.
Oh,
But I do have some expensive 1-grammers. These I think I picked up for $2 or $3 each. When now it's current melt price, but these are 1-gram germanium mint.
yeah.
See if I can get that in focus. And these things are so thin, but
They
they're
really
quite,
are, but
they're
you
quite
can't-
larger than the other 1-gram bar.
Yeah, for those that got, that's really nice. For those that did get some of the 1 grams, maybe not as an investment, but they acquired a number of them, like around the time I started stacking, and they've got a pile of them. Some people put them in 3D printed like grey plastic bins, as like just shove them in there. You can't turn your nose up at them now because they're probably worth a lot more than when you bought them. Like it's all silver and it all does add up, and it's fun for some people, and I'm sure they make nice gifts as well. But I want to throw in another question, and I'm asking this to both you, Silver Serpents, and of course, the world's #1 producer, Diaxis. And I'm also asking this, guys, to every single one of you in the live chat right now. This question is for everyone. If you're in the live chat, drop a comment with your answer. If you're on the panel, you can answer. And 46 of you live right now. Thank you so much. If you do enjoy this show weekly, we do it weekly, 7 p.m. UK time. Do make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. And also hit the like button. It's free and it lets me know you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much. So, Silver Serpents, I'm going to come to you first with this question, and it's hopefully a simple one. What is your favorite piece? Could be silver, could be gold. In your entire stack/collection, what is your favorite piece so far? And everyone in the chat as well, let me know.
This is a question I'm not prepared to answer. It's a piece that I haven't acquired yet, but has been made for me. I don't know if you've seen FG Stackers. I think it's Colorful Silver is the title of his video. I commissioned him to make me a channel round for my 1-year stacking anniversary. And it came out with some fantastic blue and color purples. And so it's got my YouTube logo on the front, and then it has the Angel of Independence with the volcanoes on the reverse. So that might be it. But up until then, hopefully I can show. Is adult theme silver okay here? Because I had a bar made up that has a little bit of a revealing nature. And this one is Medusa.
Why have you stopped there?
All right. This is a Medusa bar I had him pour. And the original artwork is by Boris Vallejo. And he is like a fantasy portrait artist who was really cranking out a lot of work in the late 70s and early 80s. And he's done like the Marvel characters, the Greek gods, the Zodiac theme, and all kinds of different incredible lifelike oil paintings and sketches. And so the Medusa has been one of my favorites because it plays into that, the original thing that Athena was jealous of Medusa, who was a priestess in her temple. And then once she was assaulted, Athena came in and cursed her and turned her hair to snakes, and that any man that looked upon her would be turned to stone. And so it kind of plays on the fact that Medusa was revered for her beauty as a human before she was cursed into a monster. And so that's probably one of my favorite pieces there.
Yeah, I like that. I want to. I've been sharing all the comments. A lot of people sharing their favorite pieces. It's always interesting. We like talking about this. So thank you for sharing that. That was a really nice piece. Diaxis, mate, what's your favorite piece? And I just curious, by the way, what's that round you've got there? It looks like a very nice round. Would that be your favorite, or?
I mean, yeah, there is that, mate. We could take a little zoom in on that one.
I'm joking. What's your favorite, mate?
Well, yeah, to be fair, little producer round is super cool. If it's just like standard-ish silver, Like, it's a bit like basically I've got a follow-on question after this, which is like the actual piece. But like one of my first bits when I first started stacking, where are we to? Yeah, a bit of a zoom on this. Little Back to the Future car, like literally that's one of my favorite movies growing up. So I got that. That's why I won the 1 year anniversary giveaway.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. I had a little piece off a jump in, little Robocop as well, which is adorable. Yeah, I must admit, off of America First, love the little Lego cube. But
I like
and
those
then
cubes.
same again. So my original, I've been saving this until it's like time to ask questions. I was gonna say to you, now you're reaching your 1 year stack anniversary. What are you gonna like? Are you gonna treat yourself? Because my favorite piece is the piece that I treated myself last year. So yeah, I don't know if you guys remember. I did pick myself up. I got this out the safety deposit box just for this video. I got my birth year proof sovereign, which is absolutely stunning.
That is stunning.
Doesn't focus up very well, but yeah, proof sovereign. So it was a little bit more of a premium at the time, but compared to the prices now, I could just take that 20 bullion deal and still make like 200 quid on it. So yeah, but you already answered my question, because I was going to forward that on to you. What are you getting for your stack anniversary? But you said
me, the channel round.
Yeah.
And then maybe I don't know if this really counts. This one I picked up at the beginning of April is the 1/10 gold snake, which was one I'd wanted, and I'd passed on a slab version late last year for $389, and it was like a $60 premium, so maybe like 20% over spot. And then I ended up buying this one with about a 15% premium, but the price was much higher. I paid 530 US when spot was about 480. So a lower premium percentage wise, but a higher dollar cost, just because spot had risen up so much that I ended up paying more by the time I picked it up.
But as you said before, you're looking to hold these things, hopefully, touch wood, for a couple of decades. So if history continues to happen, what we've seen through historical data, and this is not financial advice, it's just an observation, guys, it's going in an upwards trajectory. And based on what's going on in the world, and we don't need to go in this in too much detail, but we could see some big surges again soon, like we saw 4, 5, 6 months ago. It went crazy. Things are a little bit more stable right now, but are we sitting on a big opportunity? Is it about to crash again? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I can say we've already had a little bit of discussion with the whole Fed and potential interest rate cuts. I don't know what Silver Serpent thinks about that.
I'm not too keen on what, I understand how the interest rate affects, debt, and then, essentially about the ease of borrowing the dollar, and that a lower rate is good for metals because it weakens the dollar against other currencies. It's but I'm not sure what's going to happen. I can kind of understand the reasoning when people talk about the conflict forced a sell off as people rush to put needed dollars to buy oil, or or to increase their energy reserves. So I think short term prices might stagnate, but as long term, I think it's just kind of be a coiling before we'll see another big gain in more likely gold before silver. I think silver might try to just be suppressed a little bit because of the industrial use, but with nothing has really changed with the market. There's still the deficit in mining supply. There's still huge industrial demand, and a lot of countries are stockpiling silver and gold. The U.S. now being one of them, with it being added to our list of strategic minerals.
China are doing it massively as well. China are going big on silver and gold right now.
I say China's always done that, mate.
Yeah, I just heard recently that now that the numbers have come out, that March was the biggest delivery in physical silver to China ever. Like, I think it was like 370 tons or something of physical silver. I could be wrong. SD Bullion had a video about how much silver China took and how like the signals like with their export restrictions. Now they're looking to seize critical industrial and military supply of physical silver, et cetera, et cetera. So long term, I'm bullish. I'm kind of more so hunting the deals that I can when it comes to silver and gold, while still picking up little bits of treats. One of the bullion dealers I buy from regularly just messaged me, and actually the ones I got these Libertads from, he told me I had two more just recently come in, a blue sapphire diamond edition and another one that's a galaxite. I can't quite remember what the finish is on those. I think the galaxite might be like diamond dusted or something, and then the blue sapphire and diamond has like a faceted gem, like almost like a circular kind of finish, like as though you were looking at the top of a cut gemstone. So I'll be paying for those with my next check, and then I'll be taking delivery probably in a week or two. You know, by the time I pay it off, have them mail it out, and then I receive the items. So I've kind of been, I hate to say I've been buying a lot of copper too recently, but like the designs and the beauty, there's been a lot of Mexican and Aztec themed copper that he's been making available for pre-sale.
Don't get Diaxis started on copper, mate. Don't bring copper in. Diaxis loves his copper.
In all fairness, I do, mate. Yeah, I don't mind it, man. You got loads of it here as it is.
I can show you guys a copper piece if you want.
Yeah, you got the old Libertad.
I'll tell you what, I'm not showing much. I'll grab a copper piece, but go on, Diaxis.
I recently got this one off of Jumping as well, a couple of weeks back.
Nice.
High Relief Dragon. Super cool.
I just got these in
There we go.
not too long ago.
Wow. How about this, guys? What do you think of this beast?
He's like, I can better you.
Wow.
This is the Odin ceremonial poured by GSH, and it is 4 kilos of pure copper. I don't normally get involved in the show and tell, but I'm very proud of this one. It's one of one, and I love it. So that's my little entry. But sorry, guys, it's about you.
That is amazing. Was that the same pour that did Ian Atterbury's recent copper reveals, the Beauty in Copper video he did? Yeah. But these are some I just got here from Cool2Coin, the Great Libertad Famine of 2025, and they're sitting there because they only minted 300 from the Bank of Mexico or the Casa de Moneda that year for a 1 ounce. And so a couple of companies came out with like tributes and kind of meme coins. And so I picked up a tube of these copper ones. I might try to just maybe sell at cost. And then some of these I sent over. I sent a couple of these to in the swag pack to East End Dave, the 2025 copper Libertads from the Intaglio Mint.
They are stunning. And I will just add that copper, investment-wise, I've never agreed with it. I still don't. But what I will say is, by God, do the designs show up so lovely in copper. In the right lighting, it's arguably the nicest looking metal of all of them. Arguably. If you take value out of it and you just put them in different lights, it looks stunning.
Yeah.
We get ripped off on the copper prices as well, don't we?
Yeah. Who was it? Is it you or Dave? Somebody's got one of these copper barbell sets.
Oh, wow.
I saw that, and I had to get one of these too, the mini barbell fine copper.
Yeah. Yeah, see why I got one.
I had to pick that up.
Just say, don't show that to little John. He's going to be nagging.
Does that actually work as well?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. You can, let me get the cover up again. The barbell comes out. Oh, there's a retaining ring there. And then what I do is I just stick one end in and take the weights out.
Little John will be pumping copper, mate.
Yeah, I need to get one of those because I'll put it on little John to hold. I've never seen that before, I don't think.
And say, talking about CY's in the chat. Yeah, he done a video on it about a month or more ago, month and a half ago.
Oh, I put the weights on backwards, but and they say 45 pounds, 22.4 kilo. And the big ones are 1 ounce, the little ones are ½ ounce, and then the bar is 1 ounce of copper.
I love that. Yeah, that's what you call a collectible piece. That, I mean, if it makes you happy, there's nothing wrong with buying stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to argue with it.
I had to get one too. But these were some I thought were really cool in copper. These are like tarot cards, and they're 1 ounce from Toro card. 3 4 9s fine copper, whatever. And then so I got the Strength, the Sorceress, the Valkyrie, Purity, and the Kiss of Death.
Like those, yeah. You've got a bit of everything, haven't you?
Yeah. No, I guess silver, copper, and gold. Yeah. Oh, and then Diaxis showed his this one here that he said he got. This is one I just got. It's the kind of the chunky Libertad tribute, but it's not as chunky. It's bigger than the other, but it's still 5 ounces. See if I can get the design without the glare.
It looks nice and it feels nice in the hand.
Oh yeah.
I got another one somewhere. I've got a feeling it's a Morgan dollar. And then I've got loads of little random 1 ounces.
That was probably the first piece of copper I ever got, was a Morgan dollar copper. Somebody sent this as a gift with some silver that I bought. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, my first one was a gift too, Mum.
Yeah, as an American, Silver Serpents, do you prefer the design of the Morgan dollar or the peace dollar?
Now that I like the Morgan dollar more, and at first, just because I could get one in my birth year, like I think this one, this is one of my more nice examples. This was in 87, but it still has some of that cartwheel.
So I didn't realize you that.
But I do like the peace dollar. It took me a while to realize that her mouth was actually open a little bit, just slightly ajar. I don't know. I do love the Morgan, but I'm leaning maybe recently more towards the peace dollar. But I only have one in my stack. This one here is the 1922. That's the only one I've got.
What's the
and I've only got like these are both Philadelphia.
Yes, it's unminted, yeah.
Yeah, $1. So these are both Philadelphia, I believe. And then I've got a New Orleans Morgan dollar here. That's my 100 years before my birth year, 89 though.
The ones you've got are in pretty good nick as well, mate, I've got to say.
Yeah, I was a little particular about them. Like anytime I'd seen somebody post up a lot, I would specifically ask for 89 Morgans. And then say, okay, well, these are the ones I have if they were willing to sort through. And then I would select them out of the photo kind of based on their based on their condition. And so I was picking out, the nicer examples that I could find at least through photos.
I want to ask you something. Oh, go on, Dax. Go on.
I was going to say, seeing the Morgans is very bittersweet for me because we've just literally lost a package full of Morgans.
Yeah, it's not good. I hope out of nowhere it shows up, mate. I really do.
Oh, yeah, man.
Fingers crossed. But the question I had was for you, Silver Serpents, and this is just what I see. That sort of like the graded coins, they seem to be much more popular over in the US. That's just my observation. I could be wrong, but I think they are a lot more popular in the US. Do you personally see the attraction to buy? Because you could see Morgan dollars, peace dollars, gold coins. You see them graded more often. What are your thoughts on that? And would you pay more for a graded silver coin, for example, or not?
It would have to be something I would want. That I would be. Then I wouldn't mind it being graded, and then probably also the cost is a factor as well, as I mean, I wouldn't mind having like a graded Morgan dollar for my birth year, or maybe even like a nice, maybe like a MS-63 or so piece dollar. But for each number grade they sort of go up in that mint state condition, the value easily doubles or more sometimes. So I guess because of that, I'm not particularly interested in slabbed coins. Although I do have two that I did pay over melt for at the time. One is a proof state quarter from New Mexico, with the state where I live, and the other was a maple with a Titanic privy. It's because I wanted that particular one, but I have yet to find an appeal specifically into graded coins. Although I can understand the appeal for some, having it preserved and in the slab as well as certified authentic. But for me personally, it's not something I'm really looking for. Like that was kind of the one reason I turned down that lunar snake when I asked, that's someone I had seen who deals with a lot of gold, if he had one of these coins. And he said he had one and it was a slabbed coin. And I was like, I really don't care that it's slabbed. I want to be able to hold it, more than that. And I ended up passing because I felt the premium was a little high. And then I ended up turning around and buying it several months later for, quite a bit more. Different seller, but yeah, for me, as much as I do have a collection and I like to collect, the slab is something in graded coins that I have yet to find a real appeal in. Like for me personally, I haven't felt drawn to them particularly yet. But Ian Atterbury was talking about the Freedom Girl, so I had to pull mine out.
Yeah,
Still quite fresh to
he's
collect,
just commented. He just said, "Here she is. Here she is." He likes that one.
I think with a lot of people though, once they've been stacking for like 10, 15, 20 years, like you've pretty much got one of everything anyway. You would then probably lean towards that. I want the best of the best and try and get like your 70s and all the rest of it. But
yeah, I was telling people I'm still in my acquisition phase of stacking. So like Kansas Kid put out a great video about how, those are the people that have been stacking for years that have hundreds of ounces watching silver run up where it quadruples or more the value of some of the silver they've purchased. Like, well, what else could you do with that money? Could you move it into real estate? Could you find another investment avenue? If as far as silver being a good store of value, okay, now what are you going to do with that value? How are you going to utilize that to gain more, or is it just going to sit and continue to just retain value?
And so the other thing as well is the size of the stack. Obviously, if you're like mainly stacking silver, give it a handful of years, and you're going to have like a massive safe versus if it was gold, get away with a shoebox. Like, do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
There's a few more things I want to touch on here. We're getting closer, guys, to what I like to call the interrogation, and that's where we move to the live chat. And everyone will have the opportunity to ask anyone on the panel, special guest Silver Serpents, regular world #1 producer Diaxis, or even me, but mainly the other two guys, as I'll be reading the questions out. But before we do that, I want to touch on you, Diaxis, because I've been stacking only for like a month or two more than Silver Serpents has. We've had a good chat here, and there's so much more I'd love to ask. I think there's a lot to uncover there, Silver Serpents, and maybe in the future we could have you back on again, and we can save that for next time. But we've been stacking for a similar amount of time. Diaxis, on the other hand, has been stacking for 2 years now. So based on what we've been talking about, Diaxis, what changed for you in your second year that you've just completed compared to your first year? Or did nothing change with your strategy? What did you learn?
In all fairness, mate, it's 2 years, I think, at the end of June. So I'm about 7, 8 weeks out. But I must admit, like where Silver Serpent was saying he FOMO'd in and was just trying to accumulate as much as possible, where for me, like literally my first 12 months, the market went sideways. So I was watching videos going, buy silver, you'll be a millionaire. Like, do you know what I mean? And then nothing happened. And I was like, come on, do it, do something. Like, and it just didn't. So I done the opposite. Instead of FOMOing in, I kind of FOMO'd out. So I got to a point where instead of like stacking a whole bunch of silver, I then quite quickly transitioned over. I want to try and get gold. But then obviously gold's it's such a bigger like cost over silver rather than buying like 4 or 5 ounces. You'd have to save, and then you get yourself a sovereign or like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, so it's quite early in. I didn't stop completely on silver, but I certainly slowed up on silver. And then I was aiming more towards the gold, but then it's taken me a couple of months at a time to save up for sovereigns. Then as everything started to speed up, sovereigns went from like 450 up to like 850. Now it's taken me like multiple months. Like, do you know what I mean? It takes me forever to save up for a sovereign now. So yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets is I sat on the fence when I should have just been buying. Although that being said, it has kind of led me out into the whole stock markets and stocks and shares and all this kind of thing. And now I'm having a little play with like other investments. Right.
Yeah,
I don't
which
know.
we spoke about a lot.
That's interesting to access because now I'm starting to get curious about those other investments with stocks and bonds and that.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you do it in like a tax wrapper. So for you guys, it's like the Roth ROA, 401ks and all that good stuff. But yeah, other than that, I'm not fully like clued up with the whole American side of things.
I've just been storing my value and in silver. I kind
Yeah,
of
you just gone
what
super
would I do
quiet.
with this if I could? And
Yeah,
getting to a point
just-
where I have enough liquid weight to.
Serpent,
do
sorry,
something.
buddy. Your microphone seems to have gone a little bit muffled, so we can't quite hear you at the moment, mate.
Is this any better?
Yeah, here we go,
Yeah.
mate.
All right. I guess my headphones died, so I'll move in closer to my phone here going forward. So
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so what was your reply? Sorry, mate.
it was that going into my second year, I'm starting to get curious about these like stocks and other avenues of investment, as well as continuing to stack silver. Because instead of just storing wealth, I'm kind of getting a little bit curious about how to kind of grow even incrementally. If I can start with small amounts, as I'm kind of curious, where do I begin? But kind of wanting to learn about taking that first step and then doing that like with small incremental investments into the stock market or something.
So for me, one of the things with me, it was more so for argument's sake, you just said you had a whole load of silver. In order for you to actually like take profit from your silver, you actually have to sell the coins.
Yeah.
Whereas with some of the stocks, if you get like the dividend stocks, potentially they actually pay you dividends every so many months. So you can actually receive like, although for it to compound correctly, you got to reinvest. Potentially you could use that dividends later down the line. So actually like live off of or like get groceries or whatever, get you out of a jam without actually having to sell the stack. And if you grow it big enough, it's basically a money printing machine.
Yeah, and that's built up through consistency, and it's a long-term thing. You got to be consistent over the long term. You can't just get there overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And this is what we do. 12 months in, we're so early in that journey. But I think why it's very interesting is because within the last 12 months, and you would have seen this too, Silver Serpents, the markets have really done their thing. They've shot up, they've gone down. Whereas Diaxis, in his first 12 months, he got bored after 3 months because nothing happened. Whereas with us, we bought in and it's just gone up and then gone down again. And it's crazy, but I love talking about it. And that's what we do every week. Yeah, really interesting stuff, guys.
On that as well, though, mate. Like, so the one thing with stocks is the rule of 72. So basically, if you get your rate of return, it's any investment basically, but if you get your rate of return, whether it's like a savings account or if you're doing like stocks and shares, whether it's like you get 10% on average on like S&P 500, and then you times it or no, you divide it by 72, and that gives you how many years roughly it takes to double your money. Now, like you just said, gold, you pretty much doubled your money like in 12 months. Silver pretty much tripled in 12 months. You know what I mean? So there's me trying to hedge my bets, and then same again, I then kind of hedged the wrong way.
Yeah. But I mean, it's all good saying these things in hindsight and looking back, but the problem is we're in the now. and we don't know what the future holds. So throughout all the volatility that is still probably to come, and it will, we have to believe in this long term. So whatever happens, for me personally, when it comes to precious metals, silver and gold, I am just looking to stack steadily as we move forward. I'm at a similar stage to you, Silver Serpents. Dex is a bit further along in terms of how long you've been doing this for. But yeah, I'm more honed in on kind of sticking to the strategy now, and which I love, by the way, avoiding those ice cream, Silver Serpents. We've got to behave, haven't we?
Yeah,
we do. So, guys, I've really enjoyed this conversation so far. I really have. There's so much more I'd love to ask, but sharing's caring. So I think now would be the time. 51 of you guys in the live audience. This is your time to shine, and this is the live Q&A section. So myself, Silver Serpents, Diaxis are prepared, hopefully, to answer any questions that you have. So pop them in the live chat. We'll be going through them now. So I'll start from the first one I saw when I originally mentioned this. And this one's actually for me, but I'll try and make it quick. So Jumpin says, Craven, what's your favorite gold piece if you have one? It would be a gold sovereign, mate, would be my favorite gold piece. 1964, Mary Gillick portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, stunning. Really, really nice. That would be my favorite. I don't have it to show, as it's not with me. It's not here. But yeah, that's my personal favorite gold piece that I actually own. So thank you for the question. Where's the next one? So this is a question for the panel, guys. I'll put it up on screen. This is from Kalilo. Thank you for the question, Kalilo. Guys, what is your favorite gold piece and can you show it? I've just answered mine. So whichever one of you two wants to go first. Favorite gold piece and can you show it?
I saw his question come up in the chat a little bit earlier, so I pulled out mine. It would probably be this 2025 lunar snake. It's a little hard to show because it's either like really dark with the proof or it's really shiny. And then being small, I can't bring it in too close. But just the level of detail in the scales and everything within the coin, the Perth Mint just knocked that out of the park. Let me see if I can get a little bit of that detail without turning it too obscure. But I mean, it's almost like a gem. It just, all those scales individually done, they just reflect light so intricately. And the level of detail. And then the 10th is the biggest weight that I have. So if I could, I would have picked up, maybe a 1/4 ounce, but the availability is really low, especially now that they're out of mintage,
Yeah. And the Perth Mint certainly know what they're doing when it comes to coinage, whether it's silver or gold. Absolutely beautiful designs that they really do a great job with everything that they mint, really, from my experience.
I think I like this Perth Mint bar, maybe even just a little bit better than this snake design. Although this one here is stunning and really well done. There's just this one. It does something a little bit different for me.
I think the snake really pops more on the bar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice pieces, mate. What about Diaxis? Have you been mucking around looking for something?
No, well, I already showed it earlier, mate. It's got to be the 81 proof, isn't it?
The proof, yeah.
So that was my gift to myself for reaching 1 year stacking. And it's my birth year, and it's a sovereign as well, so you can't really go wrong, man. Let's get a little zoom on. But yeah, I don't know if you've seen it earlier, but yeah, a little proof sovereign. Doesn't zoom in that great, like it doesn't focus in that well, but yeah, absolutely stunning coin, mate.
Lovely item showcase, guys, and a great question as well. I love these types of questions. So we'll move on to the next one, which is from one of our latest additions to the Craven's Crackers Club, Queen Nessie. For Silver Serpents, this one is, if you had a 5 ounce, 5 ounce gold coin, what would you put on it and what president would you put on the obverse? Okay, interesting. That one's for you, Silver Serpents.
Okay, so I tried to answer Nessie in chat before we got to this segment really briefly. So I had a hard time picking the president. I'm like, who, George really kind of like, I feel like almost too common. And so my next best and probably favorite of the founders, the little bit I know, I'm kind of learning more about American Revolutionary history, would probably be Thomas Jefferson. And I'd heard that he actually wanted to abolish slavery and the adoption of the Constitution, but he couldn't get the southern states to ratify it. So that was why, um, otherwise, he's very adamant against, slavery. But anyway, so his political wit, knowledge, and the bit I don't know about Thomas Jefferson, I would pick him for a president. And then on the reverse, I would probably do, I told her, a rattlesnake in a striking pose. And thinking about it, the kind of quote, paraphrasing the founding fathers, that the rattlesnake is only found in North America, so it's kind of a uniquely American thing. And then it's really iconic in the American Revolutionary art, with the Gadsden flag being the first flag flown by the Marines. I believe it might have been Thomas Jefferson's Join or Die cartoon, where he had the snake and all the different pieces with the abbreviations for the colonies, to either come together and resist come together for the revolution, or all fall apart. And so I guess because of that, I would put a rattlesnake on the reverse as well. I don't think it's been featured on any American coins. We have got the eagles and other symbols, the Statue of Liberty and whatnot, national monuments, but I might have to look that up. I could be very well be wrong, but
I've not seen a rattlesnake on any coinage personally. I might be wrong. Let us know if you've seen one. I'm sure there probably is a design out there, but not on like anything that I've seen. I love these types of questions. We had a similar question not too long ago, a couple of episodes back, where I had Benson, CPM, and CL4 Hordian on the show, and we had a great chat. And the question was kind of if you would change the Britannia. And everything you were saying there just got me thinking back to the answer that Benson gave me with what he would do. And he came up with he generated it himself using AI and what, the prompts and stuff, a design with Charlie Chaplin on. And I think it's so interesting when people are asked the question, kind of, what would you do if you could create your own design? What would you have on the obverse? What would be on the reverse? It would be so cool to be able to design some coins for yourself, which we can, but yeah, I love hearing this. And that was a good answer.
Mine's only a copper, mate. I have got the Don't Tread on Me rattlesnake.
There we go. Rattlesnake. Don't tread on me. Definitely not.
Yeah, American eagle on the back, whatever it is.
That's really nice, actually.
But I forget what that is, because that's like a big thing in America. I forget what it's all about now. I don't know if it has to do with like Civil War or Southern States or something.
That snake is the Gadsden snake. It's a flag. I forget who designed it, but it was flown by a Captain Gadsden, Gadsden, and he was captain of a ship that was commissioned during the American Revolution, and I think it was part of the first fleet of the Marines. That's when it comes to the Army, Navy, and then like the Navy SEALs, and then the Marines as a branch of the armed forces.
I've seen a bunch of vets and they've got the Don't Tread on Me caps and stuff. So I've seen it about on a few YouTube channels and that, but I didn't really know the whole history behind it.
Yeah, it's a tribute to that flag, which was flown by one of the ship's captains, and it was like one of the first official flag adopted by the Marines as an armed naval force during the American Revolution.
Wow. Yeah, this is interesting stuff. I love these chats every single Sunday. I really, really do. I always learn something. Something else, if you'd care to explain Silver Serpents, I don't know if Shiny missed this, but he put a comment saying, "What do they mean by ice creams?" I'll give you credit. You brought this term in, which I love. What did you mean by ice creams, mate? For anyone that missed it.
So I was considering, I kind of came up with a quick name as far as like a treat or something that you want to have, but isn't necessarily the best, might not be the best for you. And so like the occasional treat, going out for like an ice cream cone, I consider like the high premium coins that you really want to add into your collection. For me, that's been some of the colored Libertads, like the ones I showed you earlier when you talked about if there's any purchases I regret. Those came in about October last year. So spot price was, still about 40, 45. And so, paying triple spot price for a Libertad kind of hurt at that time. It had been several months since I placed the order, and I almost wasn't sure they were going to come in. But this one here, I bought late or early February when spot had crashed, and or maybe it was on its way up. I don't remember. Spot was about $90, and I paid 98 for this one. So a little bit of a premium, but for its mintage and finish, it was something I was more than happy to pay. Some of the first ones I picked up are below spot now. Like the very first one I ever got, I think I paid like 55 or 57 for this Libertad, and I've got a short on my channel when I walk out on the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge and kind of show this one off because it's got the Mexican flag and the American flag. Yeah, and then it's got the Rio Grande flowing through a canyon, which I live out here on this off-grid property. We're a few miles from the Gorge Bridge, which is 760 feet deep from the bridge to the water level. And it's roughly a quarter mile wide where the bridge crosses. And it's used to be quite the tourist attraction. Now it's been closed because of a series of tragedies on the bridge, but it's been featured in Natural Born Killers, Terminator, Wild Hogs, and a number of other like Hollywood cinemas.
No way.
Yeah. And so, being that where I lived here, I would pass over that bridge and the Rio Grande every day. I felt that was really special. And so that was why I picked this one up. And so now what I paid is below spot, but at the time was, nearly double spot price or something like that.
Yeah. And it goes to show sometimes you're drawn to certain pieces and it's not always specifically about optimizing your purchase. Sometimes you really like it and it just connects to you personally, so you want to buy it and you're happy to pay more. And I love the background information you gave on all of that. Thank you for sharing that. That was really, really interesting to hear, mate. Yeah, we've got more questions coming through though, so I am going to keep going. There's a question for each of you, and this is from Nerd UK. So firstly, another question for Silver Serpents, which is, what are the best and the worst things about living off grid?
I guess the best thing for me is the peace and the privacy of particularly in this location. Like there are people within a few miles that are a lot more cluttered and clustered because the lots that everybody owns are so small, and so their neighbors are only a couple 100 feet away. So I'm really lucky to be where I'm at. Like I said, kind of showed earlier, all the land to the south is vacant and all the land to the east is vacant. With a couple neighbors to the west and not so much to the north. So that is a good thing. The worst thing I would say is maybe the responsibility of the independence. Like there are times when you have multiple day winter storms, and in winter the daylight hours are shorter anyway. So you're not getting as much solar power coming in, and then when it's overcast and storming for several days in a row, that really can test your ability to at times to even go without electricity, depending on the quality and capacity of your setup. It all depends on what you put in. If you come out here and you're living in an RV and out of water jugs and a propane heater and a cook stove, and that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing. But if you come out here and bury a water tank so it doesn't freeze in winter, and you put a pump in a line, and you can get set up with running water, install a septic tank, and have all of the amenities of living in town and being like on grid. But you have to be mindful of your energy consumption. So as well as the level of your resources. When you have 1,000-gallon water tank with a flowing water system, yes, you can turn a valve and have running water at your faucet, but you have to be mindful. Okay, well, how low is my tank getting, and check it every week or every other week, depending on how much water on average you use for everyday things.
Are you going to supplement with some wind as well, or are you just going to focus on the solar?
We have definitely thought about supplementing with wind because where I'm at, it's a plateau between a mountain range to the west or actually more of like a ridge line to the west that drops down several hundred feet. And then there's Taos Valley, and then the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, the Blood of Christ Mountains, which are some of the tallest in the state. And so this gentle drop in elevation from west to east causes a lot of wind where we're at. So wind supplementation would actually be a good idea, especially during like winter storms when there's no sun, but the winds are blowing crazy. But it's not something that we've done yet, just out of a lack of follow through. You know, we've kind of looked into, okay, what would be good, a vertical turbine versus a horizontal, how many blades for the fan with the wind speeds and the torque, et cetera, and getting into the technicals, and then just end up getting logged in with analysis paralysis. I call it kind of overthinking everything and second guessing the decisions, and then just going nowhere.
Wow,
Yeah, I must admit, I do the same, mate. Doing decisions, I sit on the fence way more than I should.
Yes, you
Craven.
do, and I you know, we speak often, and I've started to tell you more and more when you say, "Oh, Craven, I'm thinking about this," or "I've been thinking about this for a while." Yeah, sometimes you need to hit the trigger a bit sooner, mate. But there's no harm in planning things out and thinking things through. But yeah, great answer. I find the off-grid stuff really interesting to hear about. I know 90% of our conversations are about precious metal stacking and everything that ties into that. But I really am finding it interesting listening to you talk about the off-grid stuff. And clearly, you know, some of the members in the audience are too, such as Nerd, because the questions are coming through about that. So thank you for bringing that into the conversation, Silver Serpents.
Technically, you already are off-grid yourself with the caravan.
Yeah, well, you revealed my secret with your little AI video. But anyway, we won't talk about that now. The next question is for you, Diaxis, and this is also from Nerd, who squeezed in 2 questions in the same one. So we'll get to some more questions shortly, but wants to know, are you excited about featuring on the Series 2 of the Nerd Backs?
I am, mate. Yeah, I watched Nerd's video the other day, and those copper bars are absolutely stunning. The only thing is, though, they're 1 of 1. So, you know, everyone's going to be fighting each other to get them. It should have been like 1 of 5, and then at least then you could get some collections going. But yeah, that's going to be a bitter pill to just like have. For instance, if you get the nerd back, if you get the Diaxis version and you've got it in your backdrop, and I'm like, sell it to me. You're like, no, sell it to me. So I mean, to see someone have your personalized one the whole time, mate. But
I've actually, for guys, I'll bring this out. So guys, I don't know if you've noticed that in my backdrop there. This is Nerd UK did a great job. This kind of like your silverbacks, your Zombucks. This is the knick-knack back. There you go, 1 crunchy knick-knack. It's got little John in there. That is apparently me. I think he's I don't think it quite looks like me, but it's cool all the same. It's got the knickknacks in there. It's got the silver. It's got the caravan, and it takes its rightful place in my backdrop. So I absolutely love it, and I believe they're up for sale now. That so anyone's interested.
So how badly do you want the copper version, though?
Oh well, don't get me wrong. I can't balance this back on now. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have it. Oh, I can't balance
fingers
it
wait
back.
for it.
Yeah, I would love to own the copper version of mine, but at the same time, like I think it would be also fun if somebody else had that as part of their collection. It would be, it'd make me happy to see someone enjoy that and have that. It's really nice that Nerds included me in that. So yeah, I think all these things are cool, and it's a reminder that amongst this community, we have such a large community. I'm not just talking about locally in the UK. I'm talking across the pond, Silver Serpents. There's a huge amount of people in America that are stacking. I'm seeing more and more online all the time. And these little things that we do, such as what Nerd's done with the Nerd Backs, I think they really are great. So I'm all for it. And I can't wait to receive my Nerd Backs. I can't wait to receive them. Hopefully they arrive soon. But yeah, thank you so much for the questions. On
that as well, and this little shameless plug, I was going to put into your room, I was going to do a poll. So obviously I've got the swear jar. It doesn't count in Craven, so I'm allowed to say naughty words if I want to. Potentially I'm going to bump up whatever we got. I was going to buy something for the giveaway, right? So I'm going to match it, double it, whatever. but the poll was going to be for the giveaway. Do I buy, if you still got some, a pack of nerd backs to go into the pot, a 1/10 Britannia, or a gold back, or something, or maybe just like a random silver coin, like world coin or whatever. Put it into the chat, and then like obviously I'll do it over in your room, but just to see, like, gauge where everyone's head's at and what they want into the pot.
Well, I think all of those people would be happy to receive any of them, mate, to be honest. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to argue if they got any of them. They're all really good prizes. They're really generous as well. So, yeah, that's happening quite soon. Guys, if you didn't know, Diaxis is closing in on 1,700 subs. He's not far off at all. His link is in the description, or if you just type Diaxis, definitely check out Diaxis' channel and get involved in the giveaway, which is happening very soon. And not to mention as well, our special guest this evening, Silver Serpents. You've been fantastic, mate. I've really enjoyed this conversation. His link is in the description, guys. If you want to check him out, make sure you do show some love. So let's move on with the questions, guys. There's loads coming through, so I want to try and get through them. There's a good question coming through from Andy, CPM Invest. So this is a question for all of us. At what price is precious metals too high for you to carry on buying? Who wants to go first?
I mean, I can if you want. In all fairness, I put the brakes on as soon as like Britannia started going like 80s, 90s and upwards. For me, that was a little bit too rich. I would continue to keep buying sovereigns, but same again, it takes me forever to save up. But then you just, like what Andy's doing, you just go down in the fractional. So I don't think there's ever really, oh, this is way too, unless, I mean, you wouldn't be buying a 1/10 at 100. But yeah, as long as we can keep going fractional and it's not like a grain of silver and it's like a semi-decent value, I think you just keep buying, don't you?
Yeah, I'll add my bit in next to this. It's a fantastic question from Andy. I think, I think precious metals will eventually get too high. So the phrase is for people to buy, but it depends how you measure it. Too high if we're going off the spot price, which is per ounce. Yeah, I mean, an ounce of gold is currently, for most people, not affordable. Most people can't afford to spend £3,500 on an ounce of gold. When silver got to over £100 an ounce with the premiums and tax included over here, and a Britannia was like £115 at its peak not long ago, that for me was starting to be a bit, But it doesn't, the price doesn't matter. What matters is your budget. I will continue buying personally, regardless what the price does, like Diaxis says, and like what Andy is doing, which is brilliant, by the way. I said before, if you haven't already, check out CPM's channel. It's fantastic, the series he's doing. I will just lower my expectation of what I can get. I'll still put the same amount I can spend out of my budget each month towards metals. It might just be that I'm buying half ounces or quarter ounces instead of ounces. Got to change with the times. But yeah, what do you think, Silver Serpents? Is there a price for precious metals at all that you think would be too high to carry on buying? Or would you just change your strategy and carry on buying?
For me, I guess that price point is probably $100 US, which would probably be, what would that be? I forget, every pound is like $1.30 US. So like, what would that be, like 70 to 80 pounds UK? That was pretty testing at the time that it was there. I started switching up to buying 90% during that time, as well as I had them here somewhere, the 72% silver pesos, and I managed to pick up 10 of these altogether. These particular ones to contain a half ounce of silver in each coin, and so with the 10, there's 5.2 ounces of silver. I'd probably end up ending up and buying more half ounce as well, and I just recently bought 2 half ounce rounds at spot price. So I'll be getting those in with some of the Libertans, but I'll probably end up picking up more tents. And if I can get them at a reasonable premium, even now, I probably would. These last ones I got for $7 each, which is now below current spot price. Except for the latest 2 here I got on Whatnot, I overpaid for, I feel like. but I'm still happy to have that little bit of weight. I don't know if I would get into grams because their premiums are so much higher than even quarters and half ounces. But that 100 to $120 US, I'd probably switch it up and start looking into buying like half ounce rounds and quarter ounce rounds.
Yeah, precisely. So it's a case of carrying on to buy, but like we've all kind of touched on here, just changing the strategy and the expectation of what weight you'll get back for your money because the price has gone up.
Yes, and like you were talking about how people can't afford to buy a full ounce of gold at a time, but I've been doing the math on what I have between these little tiny 1/200th ounce gold and then my dose paste. I've got a 1/20th Libertad, 2 of the 1 gram pamps, and then 8 1/10. I'm well under current spot price for just under an ounce of gold. It's 0.9975 ounces in weight there, and I'm about 20% under current spot price, just less than 20% under current spot, and total cost for those pieces. So
well done.
I'm going to say that's where the American advantage comes in, though, because the smaller fraction we go, the higher the premiums.
Oh yeah,
like where you were saying like $7 for a 1/10, we're paying like I don't even know what they are, like well over 10, I would imagine.
I have to do the math, but I ended up picking up both of these, the maple and the snake, for $530, and spot price was $4,800 ish. So it was a $50 premium on a $480 piece of gold. So what was that? That's like just over 10-12% premium, I think. I have a pocket calculator somewhere that I haven't pulled out yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, without having a
math.
conversion thing, it's hard to tell. But yeah, we're paying, what's a 1/10? 2 summit? No, 4 summit.
A 1/10 right now, if you buy gold in the UK, is about £385 if you buy a 1/10 gold.
If you divide the 50 by 480, that'll give you the percentage of premium over spot price, and then you can just apply that to whatever currency. So I would switch it up to fractionals and then 90%. I know that's fallen out of favor with the big melt and the run up where refineries weren't taking 90%. But I would agree with the contrarians that were saying 90% on sale, with it being available below spot price and then in low demand. You kind of betting on not necessarily the loser, but eventually it'll come back as it gets melted down and there's less available. The rarity increases, and then when spot price goes up, the demand for fractional silver at lower prices will, I think, also go up, just like the demand for fractional gold has gone up.
Yeah, and I think we'll see with that demand as it becomes more popular because it's more affordable. I think fractional we'll see much more products than there even is now to accommodate for that demand. I think we'll see a lot more fractional, options out there for people in the future, more than we have now. But guys, this is the point where I say I'm going to move on with the questions, but for both of you with your answers, I'm going to kind of call this the quick fire round because we're going to try and get as many more in as we can. I love the fact that everyone in the chat is putting in the questions. Thank you so much for engaging. It really is fantastic. I want to get us through as many as we can. So with the answers from now, guys, I'm not going to answer them unless it's directed at me directly. Quick fire answers. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll move to the giveaway wheel, guys. If you're waiting for that, that will come before the end of the show. So next question for all. If you could only collect silver or gold, then what one would you choose?
Gold. But yeah, if you go on the prices, silver actually done way better, didn't it? 140% last year.
But if you could only collect one, silver or gold? Gold?
100% gold. Yeah, because if you as you build the stack, you just need a tiny amount of storage space. Whereas eventually you're going to run out of space for silver.
It's more convenient. And a lot of people eventually choose to trade their silver for gold anyway. So yeah. Silver Serpents, what about you?
Probably gold as well. I do love silver. I loved it more than gold before I started stacking. But again, going with the long-term value, the less volatility, and just long-term holdings, I'm kind of more bullish on gold. I know silver will have its day, but I'm hoping gold will overall be more stable.
There we go. I'm with gold as well, by the way. I'm totally with both you guys on that, and I think, yeah, I just feel like there's potentially going to be more stability with gold. And I could be wrong. I just sense there being more volatileness with the silver, which could work out to be better if you're investing in it at the right time. But if I could only pick one forever, which, Benson, that's quite a cruel question. We all desire gold deep down, but we also enjoy silver, and it's more affordable.
It's whether you can afford gold as well.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. It's circumstantial. It's very individual, but it's a tough question. But gold is going to be the full house, I think, on this one. Right. If anyone does want to see the copper nerd back that was done by Valui, Nerd UK says that is in the Discord on my Sundays with Craven chat, so you can check it out on there. Right, I'm looking for the next question, guys. I love seeing you guys having a chat. I'm just looking. Yeah, previous question from Andy. Thank you for the answers. No problem, mate. Any more, guys? Bear with me. Lots of comments. I do love to see it, but I can't see. Here we go. I haven't read this. What's it say? Question for Craven is, here we go. Every week he has to get it in, guys. Here we go. Is Just for Craven available in chestnut brown? Yeah. No, I'll have to ask, mate. I'm not sure. I'm covering my hair today, so who knows? Maybe I've changed color. I've used a different brand. Who knows? I'll have to keep you waiting, Ian. But I do love that weekly question I get off you. Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with this. Thank you, Andy, very, very much, mate. Great podcast tonight, peeps. I really think so. This has been a lot of fun, and you guys, it's been really interesting to hear from you. And your first time on the show, Silver Serpents, it's been really fun hearing you talk so far, mate. I really appreciate you coming on the show. So I found a question. Now, it's not metals related. Question for all: sausages or burgers?
Probably burgers, man. I do love sausages,
Burgers.
but no, 100% burgers, man. Every time.
Yeah. Burgers and burgers?
Yeah,
Yep.
mate.
Well, yeah. Jack Stacks is in the audience, so unless he's got his cheeseburger yet, we'll move on from the burgers. We don't want to upset him, but yeah. Yeah, burgers for me too. There we go. Right. So what's this? Question for both. How real is the silver manipulation?
Don't know, mate. It's a bit of a deep dive, that question, though, isn't it? You could go into that.
I don't think any of us could answer that quickly, but I will say this, and maybe you guys will agree or add your own bit onto this. When it comes to manipulation in the market, and I spoke to a few people about this, it really takes not just one, but a few of the big powerhouses out there to actually affect the market price. Us stackers, when we buy and sell bits here and there, or we react to something, it doesn't really make much difference. The actual manipulation that potentially goes on, you're talking huge astronomical amounts of weight, which I guess you would refer to as the elite joining together when that happens. Do I believe in it? Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
I'm going to say
how real is it?
Quick answer is yes, there is. But like you say, like when you start talking like market caps, you're talking like billions and trillions of dollars worth to actually like affect the price. It does happen, but how much it's actually affected by it, I don't really know.
Yeah. You got any thoughts on that one, Silver Serpents?
I would have a hard time explaining it, but I believe there is some by like industrial and financial institution players, like way bigger budgets and things as far as the COMEX, the contracts, the margin calls, etc. I believe that there is, but I wouldn't be able to quantify it or really explain it.
Yeah, it's a very deep question. We could have a whole podcast hour just on that, but that's I guess we've touched on it there. Yeah, I'm happy with the answer on that. We do sort of believe in it, but to actually explain into it, there's a lot that goes into that. But let's move on with the question. So, Robot Toaster, quick fire, guys, if you can. What's the oldest coin that you own?
I'm going to say mine's the samurai coin off of Jamie Frost. Which I think's, what was that? 16? Is it 16 or 1768? I've got it here in the pile. I'll have to dig it out, but yeah, a couple 100-year-old.
They are old, yeah. Is that the one with the hole in the middle?
Yeah. It's like an iron coin, isn't it?
Yeah. I also have one of them. I don't know if it's iron or is it brass or is it iron?
No, it's iron.
Yeah, I've got some as well.
Everyone's got one off of Jamie. He said loves sending them out to everyone.
Yeah.
I must admit though, I was talking to America First a little while ago, and one of his prized possessions. So back in like Roman times, it was the coins. It was like the currency back then, and it was like the guy. I think it was like Judas, whoever like snaked him. He got paid in that type of coin, and he's got one of those coins. And he sent me a picture. Mate, it looks so cool, man. It's like 2,000 years old, and I was like, do you know what I mean? That's insane. Like, we talk about the history of a 100-year-old sovereign and how many pockets it's been,
and that's a different level.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to step in just before I come to you, Silver Serpents. I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this last week. I actually have a coin that's potentially 2,000-3,000 years old. It's silver. It's a Trajan. It's a few grams. I'm not sure exactly, maybe 4, 5, 6 grams. I don't know the exact weight. I'd have to weigh it. But yeah, ancient Roman silver coin. And yeah, they are old, to say the least. So yeah, if you ever want to see that or want me to show it, let me know. I will dig that one out. But what about you, Silver Serpents? What's the oldest coin you have in your stack/collection, mate?
All right. It's a really close tie between the 1799 1/2 real. Is from the Casa de Moneda in Mexico. And then I have an 1800 full 8 reales. That's from the Potosi Mint in Bolivia. And these are the oldest coins that I own.
Wow. Do you know what? That Bolivian one, that's in good condition for its age.
Yeah.
It really is. Nice. Well, there we go. Great question. We've got some more good questions flying through, so we're going to continue on to the next one. Shiny Silver says, for all three of you, what's your most favorite premium coin that you've seen but you don't own? Ooh.
Okay. Probably shout out to Kalilo because he's got one. He's got a 1 kilo reverse proof silver Libertad. That's probably, I haven't seen one in person, but I've seen, the pictures and in his videos, and that's probably one that I've seen that I don't own.
Nice.
That's my most favorite.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, mate. I don't really know, mate.
I can go first if it gives you a bit more time.
Yeah. I generally can't think, mate, off the top of my head. Go on.
Yeah. So for me, and these are a premium, it's not bullion, it's pre-decimal. They're old. If it was a good nick, I'd love a 925 sterling silver Gothic crown, full crown in good nick. That would be lovely. To get one of those in good nick, from what I've seen, you will have to pay thousands for one of them in what I'm saying, very good condition. That's a premium, and numismatically, a collector's piece. You pay a lot more. Spot's really irrelevant when you see those pieces. I would love one of them. It would be up there with my favorites. To give you an answer to that now, Shiny. Great question, mate. Diaxis, you've run out of time. Let's go.
If I'm getting pushed for a single coin that I'd most love to own out of everything in the world, it would have to be off of a shipwreck, like an actual like gold pirate coin or something like, do you know what I mean? Or like pirate treasure coin or something along the lines of that. There's going to be like a Spanish doubloon or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? But one that's been in the water for like hundreds of years.
What, like the Talawa stuff?
No, like an actual pirate treasure coin. You know what I mean?
Oh, like a piece of 8?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, you see them quite often, actually. I do see them pop up. People do get them. Yeah, I don't know if they're particularly cheap or affordable, but yeah, interesting. There's so much out there that you can buy if you're interested in it. But it definitely touches more on the collector side than stacking. You're going to pay
No,
a
you know me, mate.
premium.
I'm a boring stacker, mate. I just do tubes of Britannias, mate.
Well, I'm moving that way. I was very transparent with my journey. I went down a collectible-ish route of buying everything similar to kind of what Silver Serpents has done at points in the first 12 months. And now, in my second year, I am being very weight focused, getting the most value I can for my money and just being consistent. And at times, not going as deep in and buying more than really what I should. Leaving some money spare each month for real life crises so I don't have to sell anything. There's a lot that goes into it and a lot that we learn. I'm going to ask a few more questions from the chat, guys, and then we're going to move to the wheel. So we'll whiz this one through. Nerd UK says, question for all. This one is really important considering your last answers. Wine, beer, or whiskey? There is only one correct answer.
Yes, there is only one correct answer, and he didn't even put it in the question, mate.
You're going to say rum?
Yeah, mate.
I'm choosing beer. I'm choosing beer. I think he's hinting at choosing whiskey, which I like whiskey, but I would choose beer out of those options.
Out of the three, I would probably lean towards beer myself, mate.
Yeah. A nice cold beer, barbecue, lovely. What about you, Silver Serpents?
Probably beer. I'm a featherweight when it comes to drinking, although I do enjoy some, particularly Irish whiskey, like Jameson. And recently I tried a bottle of a Tullamore Dew. That was pretty good. And that's something I can sip and enjoy with or without being mixed or chasing. But being a featherweight, probably beer. A nice, good, smooth, but I don't know. I'm particular. I like ales, I like stouts, I like some lagers. So, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I think that's a popular answer there, guys. I'm just seeing if you've got any more questions. If not, we're going to move to the wheel. We do have a question.
Did see one talking about paper, silver, and stuff.
Yeah, another deep question. It looks like. Do you all think the paper versus physical spread will continue to grow over time due to refining or supply? Silence.
I was going to say, I was just waiting to see.
Sorry, I was typing in the chat. I was listening.
I must admit, I've only touched on it very, very lightly. So for us, we're talking about and complaining about premiums. If you go into the paper market, potentially you're buying at spot, you're buying at market value. As long as it's backed by silver or gold, don't just buy fictional paper like silver. But it is very volatile compared to your coins that you got, your Britannias and whatnot. As to if the spread will continue to grow, possibly. If there is genuinely issues with refining and supplies, then maybe the big money will go into that. I think majority of it is in that though, really, isn't it? If you're talking about the big players.
Yeah. I would assume so. I don't know. I don't know any personally to ask, but I'd take an educated guess. And probably as crazy things happen in the market, these options of investing, whether it's paper or physical, are becoming broadcasted in the mainstream media more and more. Therefore, I think for casuals that are wanting to get involved when there is a hype, when there is a FOMO, they may go down the paper route. Us stackers, we love the good old saying, if you can't hold it, you do not own it. And it's very true. I like to own physically, but as for the future, it really is interesting. But I think you answered that fairly well.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like I said to you the other week as well, though, mate. We complain we haven't got enough to buy gold. Realistically, most fractional we've got is gold backs. If you're doing paper gold, you can buy £1 worth. I mean, so anyone that says, "Oh, I can't afford gold," well, as long as you've got a quid in your pocket, you could.
Yeah,
it's not the same. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. But potentially there is options.
Yeah, that's it. It lets you choose the amount you want to buy in at, and it's different than the physical. You're not necessarily paying a premium. The only real cost is the potential fees of buying in and out to the the app or company that you invest
Yeah, I'm
using?
trying to think because mine's really low fees. I'm trying to think if there's you normally pay stamp duty on UK stocks, but like ETFs, there's no stamp duty and it's commission free. So you just get in what if you pay 100, you get 100. I'm just trying to think what the silver and gold is. I'll be totally honest, I've only got a couple hundred in each. It very rarely goes green. It tends to just stay down because I bought on the dip as we rode the wave down and it went past. So yeah, it crashed a bit more. So I put another 100 into each, which kind of brought my average down over the full investment. But yeah, it's same as anything, mate. It's up and down on the markets.
Yeah, and what I would add to that, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Is it Timel Zimone? If I butchered that, I'm really sorry. But I like the question, and if you're interested in that sort of, I guess, conversation, then something similar that Diaxis is doing on his channel right now is kind of like a stocks versus gold. He's tracking that as like a series to see which one does better over a period of time. So check out Diaxis' channel. That's probably a good place to have those conversations, I'd say, because you're doing a great job with that, mate. But I'm going to ask the last couple, guys. We're a little bit over on time, but it happens when the time flies. You're having fun. John Clayton says, Craven, have you ever seen or bought chopped or marked coins? I have dug up two. Nice. If you don't know what they are, Google it. They are parity. Haven't bought any. I've seen the chopped up bit, like the hammered coins. I do watch some of the metal detectorists content. I find it really interesting, John, and some of the stuff that's just in the ground. Wow, I'd love to try that sometime. Go gold panning. There's a long list of stuff, mate, but I haven't bought any yet. No, but I'd love to see some of your finds.
When he says chopped, is that like when they clip them? Because they used to do that, didn't they? The market vendor would get paid a coin and then they'd just shave a little corner off.
Is like it's either a Chinese character or symbol, something that is it's almost like a punch mark that's in the face of the coin or the reverse, and they would use whatever tooling they had to verify the authenticity of the silver and its purity. I don't know if either of you are familiar with the Dub C coins and precious metals, but he talked about the 8 reales and the chop marks and how they went from colonial America to Europe and then traded in Asia and then made their way eventually back across the Atlantic into America to end up, in American coin shops and in trade. This one doesn't have a chop mark. Somebody hit it with the modern G.
Yeah,
but I have seen a couple of chop mark 8 reales come up. I do most of my buying online, so I haven't physically seen the coins, but I've seen people have them for sale.
Interesting, yeah. But I don't personally own any. Just before we move on, do you guys own any?
No, but I tell you what, though, I'd love to do me some metal detecting.
Yeah,
so jealous when I see them boys going out finding all these cool things, man.
I know, just
antique silver punk.
An Edwardian sovereign in someone's field. It's like, I want it.
This is it, man. The trouble is getting the permissions in that, though, isn't it?
Wow, yeah. I mean, well, if you buy that land, mate, and you find some gold in the waters, then I wonder if you're going to be asking for permissions. But anyway, we won't talk about it. Right. David James Flood says, do you keep a close eye on the gold/silver ratio, and do you use it to decide what to stack? It's a good question. What do you guys think?
I mean, me personally, dude, I did a little while ago when it went absolutely crazy. I was deliberating on doing a trade, silver into gold. But I don't know, mate. Just like I said to you earlier, dude, I hate making decisions. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, if I do this, I know the market's going to turn and I'm going to lose a load of money. So I end up not doing it. But yeah, potentially, man.
Yeah.
It's nice to keep an eye on it, but I've not done any trades.
I keep an eye on it, but not so much to decide what to stack. Although because right now I would consider it in like a middle ground where we're dancing around our lows. I still see gold as a good value given that it's dropped. I guess what I'm paying attention to more so than the GSR is spot price, but I have used it before, and like I said, I traded. It was 10.65 ounces was the exact math of silver for 2 1/10 of gold. So it was like a 53.5 to 1 gold to silver ratio in the middle of January. And I considered doing it again when I went to go see Buckethead in concert a couple weeks ago, when the GSR was about 60 or 61. But the shop that I called, they only had 1 ounce Krugerrands, and I didn't have 60 ounces of silver I would be willing to let go, so I couldn't capitalize on that. So again, that's what, again, kind of going into my future buying strategy is if there is a run up, being able to liquidate silver, either to move into another investment or to trade into gold and feel comfortable about doing so, because I kind of feel like, gold is the long-term play, and silver with its low price point has been great entry, and it's a phenomenal value. Percentage-wise, has outperformed gold in the last year, but long-term, I see they're both like pretty much doubled in price over the last 3 to 4 years, where gold has gone from American by about 2,000 up to 4,600 now, and silver from below 30 up to 75. So I feel like, percentage wise, there are good gains to be made, maybe more so in silver, but its volatility and catching that opportunity, it provides a small window. So I don't really use it to keep an eye on what to stack, but I would do kind of consider playing the gold to silver ratio.
Yeah. And once again, I think when people look at trying to, play, like you said, the gold silver ratio, I think there's a different scenario once again here in the UK to the US. I think it's potentially easier to do that in the US than it is here. This is my stance on it, right? That I said before, I do look at the spot price regularly to answer David's question. For me personally, I'm a stacker. I'm interested in this space. I surround myself by it. I'm genuinely interested. I watch the market. So yes, I do keep a close eye on it to answer the first part. The gold and silver ratio, do I use that to decide what to stack? Not necessarily, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that when we see silver, the ratio like as low as sort of 40 to 1, like it makes me think, should I be, getting some gold here or trading? It does make me ask myself questions which could change my strategy. However, this is where I'm at now. It's that I will continue to add to my stack. I don't really ever want to do any trading. If I feel like there's an opportunity with the ratios to invest in more in one of the metals than the other, i.e. buy more silver than gold or vice versa, then I will just start doing that all of a sudden and not buy the other one, rather than trade or lose what I've already got, because I want to build up a nice stack of both. Don't really ever want to sell. So that's my personal stance on it, if that makes sense for everyone. But I'm gonna respectfully go on, mate, quick.
I was going to say, that's why I was going to say you always have like a side stack if you are going to do trades. So you've got something available that you can trade out, or you have an emergency fund so you can take advantage of any dips in the market. You've got like a couple of grand stashed away.
Yeah, and this is why fiat is still useful. We prefer, for the most part, owning precious metals than fiat because of inflation, and there's a whole conversation about that. We're losing trust in our currency. It's losing value. It's just paper. The governments keep printing it. The economy is going in a bad direction right now. We know that. But it is useful to have some so you can act on these opportunities like Diaxis said. But I'm going to close that question there, guys, and I'm going to read 2 more things, and then we're going to move to the live wheel. So the 2 things was this last question I saw. Didn't want to miss it out, Davinia. For Craven, is that Ribena you're drinking? I've nearly finished it. I haven't dropped it tonight. I have dropped this whole pint once on a live stream before, if you were there. That was terrible. I made a right mess. It's really sticky as well. But this is Vimto. If everyone's familiar with Vimto, very nice, similar to Ribena, pretty good, and helps me when I'm talking for a while. So there's that. And lastly, I want to shout out to Jack Stacks, who said Isaac Newton invented the reeded edging on coins to stop them being clipped. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. We were speaking about this before. That's a great bit of knowledge there, mate. Thank you for sharing that. Did anyone know that here?
I didn't know it was Isaac Newton, but I knew that's why they done it, the reeded edge.
Yeah, I didn't know it was Isaac Newton ever, but if that's the case, that's very interesting. But guys, that is the end of the live Q&A. Thank you so much for asking all your questions. Thank you to Silver Serpents and Diaxos for answering all the questions. Now we're going to move to the live wheel. There is a giveaway package. It's going to be a surprise. I'm not going to show it right now. There is community stuff. There's poker chips. There's a Cardiff Gold Care package. There is stickers, and there may be some metal in there as well. But if you win, it'll be a surprise, and you'll get it in the post. So you'll have to look out. We're going to move to the wheel now, guys. So let me just get my screen ready, and I'll do just that. Just want to repeat as well, for those that don't know, I do a post after each podcast every week with a magic phrase. I will ask Silver Serpents for that phrase before the end. If you're not a channel member, whereby you get automatic entry into my giveaways, you need to go onto that post, that exact post, and comment the magic phrase, and then you'll be entered. If you don't do that, well, unfortunately, you will not be in the wheel. Simple as. So I'm going to get the wheel up on my screen. I've got all the members and all the people that posted the magic phrase from last week, which was coin cutter. So let's share my screen and get the wheel on there. We do love Little John's Wheel of Wonder, don't we, Diaxis?
Oh, 100%, mate. Even better when you're doing it.
There we are. You don't have to worry about all this stuff now, mate. Let me add it to the stage. So if I put us there, it probably looks a bit better there. Yeah, that should be okay. If I just move up a little bit there, that should be all right.
Click it when I'm at 7 o'clock, mate. That's all I'm asking.
There's no rig business here. Okay, guys, so you should be able to see some of the names on the right if you're curious. If not, you can see them on the wheel. We have a total of 35 entries this week. So you've got a 1 in 35 chance of winning the prize. So this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to ask the chat firstly for how many times should we shuffle the wheel. I know you guys are going to be saying rigged, but put in the chat a number between 1 and 10 now, and that's how many times I will shuffle the wheel. Go. First one to put a number in the chat.
Say shiny with 3, mate.
Shiny with 3. Shiny is quick. Yeah, shiny. Yeah. Bo's asking, do you do this all on your own now, Craven? Yeah, I'm the host. I'm the producer. It's all in Diaxis. When he joins us now, he gets a bit of rest and he can enjoy his rum and chat. So he's got less stress in his life now. So yes, mate, this is all me. Free shuffle. So guys on the panel, you can watch me do this so everyone knows this is done correctly. We don't want any VAR reviews after this. So shuffles 1, 2, and 3. So the wheel is shuffled and ready to go. Little John can't wait to get really dizzy. Let me just check. Is this 60 seconds still? Yes, it is. Okay, perfect. So, right. Silver Serpents, as you are, episode 38 special guest, and you really have been a fantastic special guest, mate. I'd like to give you the honor of counting down and wishing everyone good luck, but not too much good luck because you are actually in the wheel. You were one of the people that put the magic phrase down. So did Diaxis. So someone on the live panel could win this, guys, and then there'll be even more rigged. But would you like to give us a countdown from 5 and wish everyone good luck, mate? When you say go, I'll spin the wheel.
All right. Good luck, everyone who's entered. We're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
There we go, guys. Little John's Wheel of Wonder has been spun once again. He's going to be getting dizzy over the next 60 seconds. 49 of you in the live audience right now. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this evening's podcast, then please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future episodes. Also, the links to the channels of my special guests this evening, Silver Serpents, and of course, Diaxis are in the description. So make sure that you check them out and show some love. So, guys, the wheel is slowing down. Diaxis, quick prediction. Who's it going to be?
Probably not me, mate. Although, saying that, I am coming around. I don't think it's going to be. It's too small for me to read the names, man.
It could be Robot Toaster or Canadian. I think it's going to be.
I'm going to say whoever's on the white. I can't read it.
It's going to be Robot Toaster, or it's going to be Vegas.
Bjorn.
It could be
Bjorn. Vegas Stacker in white, is it?
It's going to be Bjorn.
I think it is, mate.
Yeah.
It's Bjorn. Well done. Congratulations, Bjorn 10. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Bear with. There we go. It's gone. No, it hasn't. Congratulations, Beyond 10. Little John has chosen you. You have won this week, mate. I think you've won before. So, yeah, congratulations. I think that's your second
He's won
time.
loads, dude. I'd swear Bjorn's won more wheels than anyone.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm really happy for Bjorn there. Drop me a message on Discord, mate, or send me an email, whatever's easy for you, and I'll make sure that package gets to you sometime next week. So, yeah, happy days. Right. Unlucky to everyone else that did not win this week, but fear not. If you're a member, there'll be a chance again next week. And if you're not a member, then there will be a magic phrase. I'm going to come to that first before we wrap up the show. Silver Serpents, thank you so much for being my special guest, mate. Do you have a magic phrase which can be used for people to enter the giveaway next week?
I'm going to go with libertad as a magic phrase. Yep.
I like that. Yeah. Libertad will be the magic phrase, guys. Yeah, that's brilliant. So the last thing I'd like to do before we wrap this up, I've got that. I also need, now this is funny, guys. This is quite funny. I was going to ask Silver Serpents, that it's tradition for a question for next week's special guest. Now, next week, I'm going to be doing a little something special with Diaxis. So technically, next week's special guest is on the panel this evening. But for the sake of it, let's just ask the boy. We'll give him a week to think about it. What's your question for Diaxis next week? We'll do it anyway, mate, for the fun of it.
All right. So the question that I came up with is, what was one change in your life, whether it was like a move or a career change, something that like put you on a different trajectory? What was that event, and how would you see your life have been different if you did or did not make the change?
Wow. Well,
or the event didn't happen, whether it's, a tragic event, like something like the passing of a family member, or a new job opportunity that you moved for, or, some life event that you feel looking back would like, wow, things could be so different if this didn't happen, or if it went this other way.
Yeah, already know it, mate. I'll save it for next week, though.
Yeah, we'll save that answer for next week. That's a great question. I much prefer the deeper questions. You've done well there, mate, and you've done a fantastic job this evening. First time on the show.
Thank you.
I personally want to thank you for coming on and sharing some detail about your story. It's been really interesting. Maybe
thank you so much for having me
again in the near future. Mate. That would be really cool. But what I'd like to say before we wrap up, and I'll come to you in a second, Diaxis, because I want to speak to you as well. Yeah, obviously, thank you for coming on. And a reminder, guys, if you haven't seen Silver Serpent, check out his YouTube channel. Link in the description. Show him some love. Do you have any closing words for everyone in the audience, mate, before we wrap up the show today?
No.
Yeah, go on.
Are we asking me or to Axis about closing words? I'm sorry about that. First, just I don't know. Find your plan. Find a good rhythm. Don't over leverage yourself. I've done that a couple times, going too hard on silver, overspending, and then like kind of biting my fingernails, trying to figure out how I'm going to make it through again until my next paycheck. Just stay steady. Stick to your plan. Change it if you need to, but just keep doing what you're doing. We all have our own different journeys, and so we can't compare ourselves to another as far as like how much we're buying or how much we can afford to spend. We all just have our own path, and just stick to your course, and stay consistent.
Well said. Wise words, mate. And once again, thank you so much for tonight. It really has been great having you on. You've been a great special guest. Diaxis, on to you, mate. Thank you for coming back on this evening. It's been a little while since we've had you on, and I also look forward to having you on next week. Do you have any closing words for everyone in the audience?
No, same again, mate. It's always great to be here, man. Great crowd watching, and yeah, see you guys next week, I suppose.
That's it. Yeah, thank you so much, mate. What's this? There we go. I see Alpha Hordian is in the chat,
mate. He's only just turned up. We have to ban him from next week's wheel, man. Not good enough.
No worries, Alpha, mate. Good to see you in there, guys. That is the end of episode 38. I hope you enjoyed it. as much as I did. Once more, please do hit the like button if you enjoyed the show as much as I did. I hope you go and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evenings or afternoons. If you're across the pond, might be a little bit earlier in the day for you. And I hope you take some good momentum into next week and smash all your goals, and happy stacking. Keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, that's it for this one. That's a wrap. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.